Welcome to another episode of Cooking with AI. As always, I'm your host. Unless I'm not, then I'm not your host. So today we're going to do a corned beef and cabbage. Here's my big old corned beef here. Let's see, this thing is 4 pounds. So what we're going to do, it's a lengthy process as far as cooking time. Prep time, not so much. All I got to do is quarter an onion. Be the same with the cabbage later. I'm just going to cut it in wedges to put in. Add my seasonings with my beef right now. Submerge it in water. I'm going to do a half beef broth water. And it's going to cook, once we get it going, it's going to cook for about 2.5 hours. So this is a big brisket. After 2.5 hours, I'm going to come back, cut up some potatoes, some carrots. Add that to the pot. Let it cook down about 20 minutes. Add my cabbage wedges. Let that cook for the last 15-20 minutes. Then it's done. We'll take out the beef, we'll slice it against the grain, and that's it. So as far as prep time and time it takes to get this going, it's not too bad. So I am going to need 8 cups of water. See here, my bowl for 8 cups. I'm going to fill this with 4 of the beef broth cubes, which is 4 cups of water. Fill the other half, that's why it's a half and half. And then we're going to see if that submerges. If not, I can add more. I'm going to get out my brisket here, rinse it off, add it to the pot, add my seasoning pack that comes with it. Add, one thing that goes in here is the garlic, the onions, and some pepper. And the beef and the seasoning pack comes with it. We'll have everything else we need. So get started here. I'm gonna get out my beef broth and we'll get it made up first here. I'll go ahead and get my hot water going and mix better and warmer water. Now what it recommends on the stove is to get once you get it to a boil, you lower it to a simmer. You want a rolling boil, so I'll keep an eye on the water. I'll make sure it's not just boiling for 2 hours. Like I said, a few bubbles here and there where it's right there near the boiling point is what we want. That way it cooks through here in about 3 hours, 15 minutes time frame that we need. Since this is such a large brisket. I know what you're thinking. You know, we had a ham and cabbage stir fry yesterday. Now we're doing a beef brisket with cabbage. We're a glutton for punishment. Well, you know, here next week we'll be in class. Let my students feel the wrath of the cabbage, right? See how they like it. So this will get rid of that head of cabbage. This will give us enough for the next couple of days since we have class. After that, I'll be doing our custom kiwi lime shrimp. That's my wife's recipe. I'll be making that. Her birthday's coming up here soon. That's what she requested. I'll do it over long grain rice, asparagus with it. It's a really good meal. I mean, it is fried shrimp, but I'll may cook it Tuesday. That way we'll have it. So you see there, I just, with the warm water, I mixed that up. Then I'm gonna fill this rest of the way up, get my 8 cups. This get half and half. These cubes, each cube is 1 cup of water. So I did 4 cubes and 8 cups. That way, like I said, it's the half and half that way. And if I need to add more, I will. I left out my beef bouillon cubes. So there we go. I got my broth ready. Now the biggest thing is just getting this sucker here out of the pack and getting it rinsed off. Let me step over here to the sink to do that. Be the easiest. All right, so we got that in. And what it recommends, don't have to use the whole cup here. What we're going for is to cover the brisket by about 1 inch of water. Which, conveniently enough, took the whole thing. Good old AI. I told what kind of pot I had. Is able to figure out the rest for me. So. It recommends what's called a Dutch oven to cook these. That's like a cast iron type thing, I guess. But any any heavy duty pot like this that you have a lid for, it must have a lid. You get some scissors. And like I said, once this bring it to a boil, we're going to add this seasoning pack here to it. We're also going to add 1 onion, just quartered. You know, see any of my other videos, if we don't have an onion, it ain't right. Okay. So the good thing, at least, we don't have to really dice this up like we normally do. It just wants chunks in there for flavor. So, as you saw, I just quartered it, is all I did. I'm gonna stuff this in there. It's gonna cook down with all this. We'll add the vegetables here later. Let me add my garlic real quick. And it does want 3 cloves of garlic, which if you've been watching me, you know every teaspoon is a clove. All right. All right, got that in. Give it a good stir up here. All right, that's it. So we got everything in. The only thing we got to do is when we come back, I'm gonna cut up some carrots and potatoes. I'm gonna add that to the pot after 2.5 hours. So I added everything to it. I'm gonna bring it to a boil. Once I bring it to the boil, I'm gonna reduce it down to a simmer. I'm gonna cover it. I'm gonna let it cook for 2.5 hours. For the last 30 minutes, I'm gonna add my potatoes and carrots. Cook those down for 20 minutes. I'll add my cabbages for the last 20 minutes, so it'll take roughly 3 hours, 15 minutes, somewhere in that ballpark. When it's done, I'll remove the beef, slice it against the grain. It even gave me a slow cook method. Now at the end, it recommends a flavor boost option. We're going to melt 2 tablespoons of butter, half a teaspoon of the Dijon mustard, a splash of the broth, mix it up, and we'll add that to the top of the beef. We'll take everything out. Now my wife likes the beef broth with the cabbage out of there, but I'll take the beef out, slice it, coat it, let it rest, add it back to the broth so we have it. And then it gives me recommendations for a creamy mustard sauce we want. We could do sour cream mustard and a little horseradish. So if I want to do it even gave me a plating idea. I could add some cabbage to the bottom, sliced beef on top, potatoes and carrots around the edges, a little bit of the broth over everything. If we have leftover, we can do a corned beef hash and eggs, which sounds good. Reuben sandwiches out of it. This tends to go pretty quick. It's 4 pounds. My son likes it as well. We'll have the potatoes and carrots, so if we all eat this meal twice, there ain't gonna be much left of it to make anything else. But so I'm gonna put everything away. Like I said, get this to a boil. Once it gets to boiling, I'm gonna reduce the temperature, and then we'll set it for 2.5 hours. In that meantime, I'm probably gonna go hit the treadmill, get my 30 minutes walking in, my 2 miles, go cool off, get cleaned up, all that good stuff, and then be about the right time. By the time I get all that done, that'll burn an hour, hour and a half of it anyways, and then come back and be ready to start chopping some vegetables. But I'll turn it back on when we get to the vegetables. I got some baby carrots. I ain't even got to chop those. It's a good thing. I'm just going to add about a cup worth, maybe a cup and a half worth. I'm going to do several potatoes, cut them down. I'm going to add it, stuff it in there. Then let it cook 20 minutes, then add the cabbage at the end. The key is we want the cabbage still have a crunch to it, not be completely soggy, but it does absorb the flavor that way. We do it for about 20 minutes. And then we'll take everything out. I'll save some of the broth in a separate container. Sometimes it's good to sprinkle over the top. We'll see. We used to just keep everything stored together and just dig it out. Of course, cabbage gets a little mushy, but we'll go with AI's recommendations here. One of the things that did warn, it could float to the top, and that's fine. Got my onions in there, got my seasoning. Everything should come out really, really nice here. I'm already starting to get some bubbles going. It's about to the boiling point. Must have spilt some water on there and hear it sizzling. So I don't think I want any more beef broth. I want any more. So very minimal season on this. It comes with a seasoning pack, so all the seasoning you need for the corned beef are in that pack that comes with it. Like I said, just some minced garlic. I wanted 3 cloves, so I did 3 teaspoons. I just diced my onion, add a little bit of pepper, and then we got our beef bouillon cubes for beef broth, and that's it. Very quick and easy. Just gonna be some vegetables. Gonna be the corned beef. I'm not sure what seasons come in there. I'll have to ask AI one time what it uses, and I'm sure it'll tell me. So everything will get that flavor when we add those onions and potatoes and everything to it, real nice and neat. All right, well, this is almost to the boiling point, and then we'll just come back in 2.5 hours and check it from there. All right, well, I'll see y'all back in 2.5 hours. All right, welcome back. All right, welcome back. So here we are. We're 2.5 hours in. This sucker's looking good, good, good. Smells good. The onions and everything still got a gentle roll and boil going here. I've had to adjust it a couple times, kind of give you an idea. You know, it's not full on boiling, but been having to adjust it, going anywhere from 2 to a 1 on the thing. So now we got a little over 2.5 hours in. Just got to add the vegetables for 20 minutes. So carrots, like I said, already got some little baby carrots. Ain't even got to cut these bad boys. Just gonna throw them in there. Alright, once we add the carrots, I'm gonna just quarter some of these small red potatoes. Probably enough carrots. There you go, Spot. You can have that carrot. I'm sure my dog loves carrot. He'll walk around with it in his mouth just to show off to the other dogs. Like, ah, look what I got. So I added a little time to my, probably about 2 hours, 45 minutes currently. All that only dropped 2. Not too bad. I had about an hour spell there that wasn't quite boiling properly, so I did add some more time. Just gonna finish off my old taters too. So these bigger ones, I'm gonna cut them in half. I'm gonna quarter each half, so they'll be cut in 8. Or maybe even a little more. I cut that one extra. This just makes sure that they cook right. Cooking time, they're gonna be about 20 minutes in there. Should be plenty of time for them. I want to have some nice potatoes to go with it. Some of these, as you can see, I'm cutting them a little bit smaller just so they cook right. Not a big deal either way. Cut these again. That one I'm not going to use. And then last but not least, now the cabbage, you know, according to AI, we're going to cook this for 20 minutes with the carrots and potatoes. Then we'll come back for the last 15 minutes. I'm going to just cut wedges out of my cabbage. Turn this back up to about a 2. Adding stuff to it, you know, it's going to kill the temperature. And we can see now this pot is loaded down. There's no other seasoning that's going to go in here. All that's just going to cook with the beef broth that we made. It's going to cook with the onions we got in there. Like I said, the only thing left I'm going to have to do is cut wedges. I'm going to reset this timer. I'm going to turn this one off. I'm going to do 20 minutes. Once that 20 minutes done, we'll come back and add my cabbage for 15 minutes. And then we're done. It just wants me to take a little bit of this juice, some Dijon mustard, and then some melted butter we'll mix together. I'll take the beef off, cut it against the grain in slices. Once we get it cut, I'll coat it. I'll pull out all the vegetables and everything. And go from there. We can save some of the juices. Typically, you know, according to AI, I'm gonna drain the juices. I'll just pull all the vegetables and everything out, and the meat, and top it, and that'll be good. And that's probably what I'll end up doing. So everything will be cooked pretty good. So here's the rest of my cabbage that we made from yesterday. So if you saw yesterday's video where we made the ham and cabbage stir fry, that's what this is from. So I'm gonna cut wedges out of this. Go ahead and have it prepped. That way in 20 minutes, we can just add it to it for another 15. So we added the vegetables. We're gonna let the potatoes and carrot cook 20 minutes. On a simmer, add the cabbage wedges for another 15 minutes, and then we'll let it rest. So we'll remove the beef, let it set for 10 minutes, and we'll cut against the grain. And that's it. And it'll be ready to eat. So as you can see there, I just cut 5 wedges there I got total. And that's gonna be it. I'll add this to the pot. Once my timer goes off, I still got 16 minutes left. So I got a few more minutes. So bring this up to about 3 now after adding everything. That's gonna be pretty much it. Another 15-minute break, add the cabbages. Another 15 minutes and we'll be done. So I'll probably wait till I'm at the end, come back, show you everything going on here at the end when everything's done. Show you what it looks like with the sauce. All right, see you in a minute. So here we are at the end. You see my corned beef, my cabbage, my potatoes, my carrots, put a little sour cream on top of that. So once we added all the ingredients here, we let the vegetables cook 20 minutes, the cabbage cook another 15. I took the beef out, let it rest. I cut against the grain and made a little sauce. It was some mustard, a little bit of the broth, and melted butter. Put that on top. I'm gonna add this back to the pot, just let it all soak in the juices until we're ready to store it away. And that's it. That's the whole meal. Everything came out nice. now it's time to go eat. As always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.